Chechen leader Ramzan Kadyrov, whose health has clearly deteriorated, reappeared in public after a long absence. He convened a meeting to personally issue threats to Ukraine in connection with the drone strike on a business center in Grozny. The footage was published on Kadyrov's official Telegram channel. The Chechen leader expressed a desire to meet with the Ukrainians one-to-one, face-to-face, and demanded a location for this meeting. Although, judging by his official video released, he had recently become significantly weaker, speaking with difficulty and once again appearing puffy and frail. "We're calling for you to determine a location. Give us the location. We're ready to fight. In 2 or 3 days, you'll see if the response will be positive. Expect a gift from me personally," Kadyrov said. He then switched to Chechen. The Russian publication Verstka confirmed the Chechen leader's poor condition. Sources claim he has recently fallen ill. There's no longer any doubt that Kadyrov is seriously ill. There are several theories about his exact diagnosis. Political strategist Stanislav Belkovsky, who has connections with Russia's top leadership, claims Kadyrov has cancer. Another theory is that he has been diagnosed with pancreatic necrosis. The Chechen leader himself categorically denies these rumors. It's important to clarify that Ukraine has not claimed responsibility for the attack on Grozny city. Given Kadyrov's fragile health and position, it cannot be ruled out that the attack could have been an internal dispute. Media previously reported that Kadyrov had caused a scandal with Moscow, recalling the 2 Chechen wars with Russia. He publicly accused Duma deputy and former commander of the Russian airborne forces, Vladimir Shamanov, of crimes against the Chechen people in the 1990s and proposed court-martializing him in response to his criticism of the renaming of villages and towns in Chechnya. At the root of the conflict lie the wounds of 2 Chechen wars and tensions between the republic's elite and Moscow's military establishment, experts say. The State Duma approved a package of bills on renaming 3 settlements in Chechnya in their first reading. Vladimir Shamanov, a former airborne commander who fought in Chechnya, now a State Duma deputy, criticized the renamings, calling them erasing history. Ramzan Kadyrov responded harshly. In a speech and a Telegram post, he accused Shamanov of serious crimes committed in the 1990s and demanded that the general be tried and sent to test his skills in the war with Ukraine. He was the most brutal general toward the Chechen people, leading men into the field and executing them. These crimes will come back to haunt him, Kadyrov said, commenting on Shamanov's role in the 1990s. Kadyrov spoke mostly in Chechen. The Grozny State Television and Radio Broadcasting Company provided a translation of his words into Russian. This isn't just a domestic squabble. It's a deep rift that has been simmering since the 1990s. 2 Chechen wars left painful scars, mutual accusations of brutality, revenge, and personal grudges. Shamanov is a figure associated with harsh military tactics by many Chechens. The public clash between a regional leader and a federal general demonstrates that Moscow's centralization of power does not eliminate local contradictions. When regional leaders engage in open confrontation with high-ranking military officials, it undermines the image of government cohesion and signals that internal tensions could spill into the public arena. For the Kremlin, this risks political fragmentation and weakening governance, especially in regions with difficult wartime memories. The head of the Chechen Republic, Ramzan Kadyrov, declared his readiness to start a war with European countries, which would end quickly and not in their favor. Kadyrov appealed to Russian President Vladimir Putin, declaring that his military only needs an order from him to start a war with Europe if necessary. The pro-Kremlin politician posted the corresponding appeal on his Telegram channel. The head of Chechnya promised that no one would stand on ceremony and that the conflict would end very quickly. "We certainly won't stand on ceremony. Vladimir Vladimirovich, we're waiting for the order. This will all end very quickly and clearly not in favor of those who decided to start a war with Russia," Kadyrov declared. "I have one question. Vladimir Vladimirovich, if all this starts, you won't be offended if they immediately apologize voluntarily, will you?" Kadyrov wrote. In this way, the head of the Chechen Republic supported Vladimir Putin's recent statements made on December the 2nd. At that time, the Kremlin leader declared that Russia was prepared for a military conflict with Europe, although it had no official plans to initiate one. Recall, Russian President Vladimir Putin stated that Russia is prepared for a military conflict with Europe, although he has no official plans to initiate one. Moreover, he compared a possible escalation to the war in Ukraine, hinting at serious consequences for European countries. The Kremlin leader noted that Russia does not intend to attack European states, but he is prepared to respond immediately if Europe takes aggressive action. He also noted that there can be no doubt about Russia's military capability. The Russian president also stated that in the event of a conflict with Europe, events would unfold very quickly, noting that actions against Ukraine differ from a potential confrontation with European countries. He argued that Russia is acting surgically against Ukraine, whereas with Europe, the consequences could be much more serious, and situations could arise where there will be no one to negotiate with. Putin also accused Western countries of disrupting peace talks. He claimed that Europe and other countries were not interested in a peaceful settlement and had obstructed the US administration's efforts during Donald Trump's attempts to negotiate a peace deal. The official explained that all proposed changes to the West's peace initiatives were intended solely to block the negotiating process. He asserts that these demands are unacceptable to Moscow, and the West is deliberately seeking to shift responsibility for the breakdown of the negotiations onto Russia. Also, during his speech, Putin emphasized that Moscow clearly sees the West's actions as an attempt to undermine any peace agreements and block dialogue that could potentially lead to conflict resolution. The Europeans have no peace agenda. They favor war. When they try to supposedly amend Trump's proposals, all these changes are aimed at blocking the peace process. They put forward demands that are absolutely unacceptable to Russia. They understand this and then blame Russia for curtailing the process. "We see this clearly," the Russian leader explained.